Well, you know, Dan Sachs from Sachs Corner not only renovates second-hand furniture for a living, but more importantly, forms part of a global upcycling trend. Now, today he joins us along with colour expert Sonika Buxted as we explore this exciting trend and we do a little DIY with Dulux. Now, Dan's upcycling ideas using Dulux paint can be seen in the March issue of SA Garden and Home magazine, and it's on shelf now, so go and get it. And also don't forget about the Dulux Spot the Dark competition. From now until the end of the show, you need to stay tuned and look out for this fluffy toy. Now, he will be hiding somewhere in our studio, and as soon as you've spotted the Dulux dog, you tweet the location to @Let'sColorSA using the hashtag #DuluxDogSpotted, and a fluffy Dulux dog could be yours. I'm quite liking this one. I think I might want to take it home with me. Oh, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Sonika, can you tell us, you know, upcycling at the moment, when looking at the sort of research that you've been doing in the colour trends for 2012, what kind of themes have come about?
Well, I think one positive thing about downscaling of the economy is that we are forced to actually downscale our consumption. Now, one of the trends that we've noticed is definitely this upscaling, or I call it the utility trend, where we are forced to use what we have got. One of the trend themes within Colour Futures is called Rediscovered Heroes.
Right.
And it's actually about encouraging people to utilize what they already have. Basically upcycling, that means basically just taking what you've got and instead of throwing it out, doing something special with it. It's not just about objects, it's also about buildings. There's quite a large trend now where people are moving back into old dilapidated buildings, fixing them up. I think a good example in Johannesburg, there's an old power station that's been reconverted into offices.
Amazing,
so we've got these beautiful buildings that we can reutilize, and why not? I mean, instead of wasting and, you know, keep on building new things, we already have these beautiful buildings that we can use.
Exactly, but what was the inspiration behind Rediscovered Heroes?
I think the inspiration behind it is basically just taking what you have and making it work.
And making
creating
it work for you.
creating something out of ordinary objects, you know, that we've become oblivious to. You know, an example is the Campana brothers. They've got a make-do philosophy, you know, with their designs. They basically use discarded materials and they create beautiful new objects that are useful for the home, such as their favela chairs.
Yes, definitely. Now, Dan, you know, Sonika kind of briefly touched on it, and I've heard this word buzzing around: upcycling, upcycling, upcycling. Tell me in detail what upcycling is all about.
I think upcycling is about using what you have available. We've depleted our natural resources.
Yes.
Something is already created, so rather take that, rather reinvent it or make it your own than throwing it on the junk heap or... and I think we have like an obligation to our old furniture.
That's right.
And to the people that made them to kind of keep it around for our next generation.
Well, speaking about old furniture, you love renovating old furniture. What inspired you to start doing that?
I think, you know, essentially it started out of a tight budget. So I'd go to auction, you know, kind of buy
See, things can happen when there's a tight budget.
Sure,
yes.
it inspires creativity. So, yeah, I'd buy a piece and then, you know, just maybe touch it up, sometimes a little bit too much. But, you know, through the years, I've just learned exactly, you know, how much to do and which furniture pieces I enjoy.
Lovely. Now, speaking about furniture pieces, we have some over here. You're actually going to be showing us how to upcycle a chair. You have to tell me, how do I go about doing something like that?
Well, I've got an Art Deco chair over here, which is... I've always likened Art Deco to like a front row rugby player. It's heavy, it's solid.
Looks like something actually my grandpa would have in his home, but they're normally quite sturdy and very antique-y looking, I have to say.
It's fantastic build, but it's just a little bit stocky. So for this one, what I've done is I've used a Juco spray paint. I've sprayed it white just to lift it up a bit.
Okay.
I've put little turquoise socks on it and then turquoise detail on the back. The fabric I've used is a local designer as well, which I try to use local designers in my fabrics.
So when you're actually spraying on here, because this is the thing, shouldn't you be putting sort of a base coat on first and then you add the layers, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, it's, you know, I think a lot of hardware stores could offer advice. The most important thing is to get your preparation right. So it's to sand it down, to use a primer. So
sand it down, use a primer, okay.
And then to spray on top of that. And then basically your masking is just done with regular masking tape. So
okay. Wow, that looks lovely. And then you've got a little table next to it as well?
I've got a little table here which I sprayed white, and I did like a bird detail on it using a decal, just to kind of tie in with the fabric.
Okay, lovely stuff. Well, Sonica and Dan, thank you so much for joining us in studio. The viewers out there, of course, can get a hold of your work and find out exactly how to go about doing this in the SA Garden and Home March issue that's going to be out on the shelves right now. So make sure that you go and get that ASAP. Now, we're also going to be taking a look at a Dulux tip of the day, rather. So let's go have a look.
Today we focus on how to use contrasting colours to accessorize or paint a feature wall to create a scheme that's refreshingly different. Dulux colour expert Sonica Bunksteg shows us how.
Contrasting colours are colours that are located opposite one another on the colour wheel, such as reds and greens or oranges and blues. Using the Dulux colour mixing unit, it's quite easy. You just count 3 columns to the right or the left. Now, referring back to my cushion, I'm going to create a contrasting colour scheme using these beautiful dark reds. So taking my cushion, I'm locating the closest colour. I think I found it. It's Red Stallion. Counting 3 columns to the right or the left, I want you to envision that this unit is a circular colour wheel. So from my reds I go 1, 2, 3, and green is my contrasting colour. You can then select any green within the rich mood row to complement this colour.
Rich colours are very striking and could be overwhelming, so Sonica considers shades of green from the calm mood row in line with the starting green colour. When you choose the right contrasting colours, your rooms have energy and balance.
And I've decided I prefer to use the calm range, so I can then combine Red Stallion 1 as a feature wall and Gooseberry Fool 3 for the rest of my remaining walls. And that is how easy it is to create a contrasting colour scheme. We hope that with the help of Dulux over the last few weeks, you now feel inspired and more confident to select the colours that you want.
Stay with Expresso and SABC3.